Hi, welcome to Movie Review Mom. Today I'm reviewing Robin Hood, the remake, the 2018 remake. They've had several of these remakes, like we needed another one. So I'm going to tell you what score I gave it. C minus. I didn't really like it, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I'm a big fan of the animated Robin Hood, which is adorable. My kids watched it 1,000 times. I'm also a big fan of the old Kevin Costner Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, back in the 90s. I loved that one too. This one, just kind of a meh. I just didn't really like it that much, obviously. Here are some tips for parents, and then I'll tell you more about why I didn't like it. First of all, there's lots of violence. Not that that's why I didn't like it. I mean, I expected it. It's Robin Hood. But just so parents know, there's lots of violence, lots of hand-to-hand combat, lots of weapons, sometimes with blood, mostly without, but sometimes kind of gory, brutal deaths. There's some gross images, like you see a dead man hanging from a noose. There's some profanity, name-calling, lots of destruction, some cleavage, barebacks, alcohol, partying, dishonesty, thievery. All right, in a nutshell. Not that those things can't be in a good movie that I like, just giving you a heads up that those are definitely in this movie. I was really curious to see what new elements they were going to bring to a remake of Robin Hood. And I guess I was kind of disappointed. One of my big pet peeves about the Kevin Costner version was everybody had a British accent in it, except for Kevin Costner, who was supposed to be British. So I thought that was pretty lame that he didn't even try. Or maybe he tried and it was so horrible they told him, forget about it, don't even worry about it. Surprisingly, Jamie Foxx, who's a fantastic actor, is the one without a British accent. Now, in this case, it's understandable because he's from the Middle East, right? So he wouldn't have to have a British accent, but he should have had some kind of an accent, right? Instead, he sounds like an American guy, which was weird. And then Marion, who was definitely British, played by Eve Hewson, also did not have a British accent. Every now and then it sort of sounded a little Scottish, but mostly it sounded like an American actress trying to sound British, and it just didn't work. Another one of my huge pet peeves was Marion, Maid Marion, just looked like she was coming out of a VH1 video or something on YouTube, or just the modern clothing that she wore just didn't work. Her hair was always perfect. She had great makeup on, even though she was supposed to be living right next to these mining camps and dying and starving with everybody else, and yet she looked all bright and chipper and cheery and cute. So I just thought that that was kind of weird. There were some things that just didn't work. For example, the Sheriff of Nottingham, his clothing design also seemed too modern. His haircut seemed too modern. So there was sort of a clash between what was supposed to be the Middle Ages at some point and modern movie clothing. I don't know. It was just kind of strange. Some themes about the movie that I should jump to before I keep going on with some of the things I didn't like were actually Taron Egerton, who's in the movie. I love him. He's fantastic in everything. And I wish that this had been a better movie for him, because you could tell he was really giving it his all. He always gives it his all. Anyway, his character, Robin Hood, says, what we're born isn't always who we are. And that really is the theme of the movie. Other themes are that one man can make a difference. Power, greed, justice, vengeance, friendship, loyalty also are themes. Another line that Maid Marian says is, if not you, who? If not when? No, I'm messing that up. If not now, when? Now, obviously, we've heard that a million times before. That's not a new line for this movie, which also was kind of weird that she said that. Little John also says, you're only powerless if you believe you're powerless. Okay, and that Little John was played by Jamie Foxx. Wait, no, I think I got that wrong on my notes. I need to correct that. Anyway, some things that I really did like was Taron Egerton. he's so talented, and he's adorable. I think he's believable. There were some criticisms that he wasn't the right actor for this role, but I thought he was fine. And probably just because I like him a lot. Some things that I did like were great slow motion sequences. Those are always really fun, especially when arrows are going slow motion or things are happening, big destruction or something like that. So there's several times where that happens. So that's kind of fun. There's certainly lots of action. So if you want a fun action movie, then you might enjoy it. There is some humor, which I always appreciate, but it mostly fell flat. There are some cool, but some ridiculous weapons. The movie ends with a cliffhanger, which I like, but it means that there's going to be sequels. So if you didn't like the movie, you may not be happy that there's going to be a sequel. Part of the movie was filmed in Dubrovnik in Croatia, and I just went there this summer for the first time ever. Loved it. It's gorgeous. Put that on your bucket list, and while you're at it, visit my new blog, which is emptynesttravelhacker.com, and I've got a little video even on YouTube under the name Empty Nest Travel Hacker, all about Dubrovnik. Well, it's not all about it. I take that back. It's about this really gorgeous place near Dubrovnik, but I'm going to make some more videos. Anyway, you definitely need to put Dubrovnik on your bucket list because it's really cool. It's just beautiful, and you can see some pictures of that on my website. So some things that I didn't like also was the actors were kind of going off in different direction. I don't know what the director was going for, but there was a lot of overacting, which was kind of weird. And like I said, the actors weren't quite in sync. There was some really bad choppy editing. And some of the details didn't make sense. If you had watched the movie before releasing it, you might have caught some little things that just didn't work. Just some gaps in the story and some things like that. Now, if you're Catholic, you might be offended because the Catholic Church, like the story Robin Hood, is shown in a negative light with some very evil Catholic priests and bishops and leaders of the Catholic Church that do very corrupt things. Friar Tuck's character was cute, but his jokes never quite landed. I could tell he was there for the comic relief. You didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with him. And like I said, his character didn't quite grab me like some of the other Friar Tucks, like in the old Kevin Costner movie. You just loved him. He was so endearing. Some of the scenes definitely looked like they were filmed next to a green screen. So that's always disappointing. And it's a big budget movie. It looks like it. But it's just not as good as I had hoped it would be. If you're just looking for a place to eat popcorn, there are worse movies out there, I suppose. But if you want to see a really good one, go back and watch that old Disney animation or the old Kevin Costner movie. I really like those better. In the meanwhile, be sure and subscribe to Movie Review Mom here on YouTube, and check out my written reviews at moviereviewmom.com. Tell a friend and post your comments below. I want to hear what you're thinking about these movies too. I could be totally off, and I recognize that. So I want to hear what things that you pulled out of the movie. Anyway, I'll see you in the next movie. Bye for now.